sacrifice a bull, another female by the end of this week. If they don't have a female every week, they could die, and the Grand Automaton paid over $20 million for that one. So I have to do everything around here myself, but Toad the Benny's to handle that.
The Actium Maximus Carnivale, opening another exciting season of circuses and games, has a great roster ready to thrill spectators and bring higher than ever stakes to the wagering. With the opening of the Actium Maximus also, of course, came opening night with the dancing with the Titanodons. Every year the Titanodons are let loose out of the gates onto the Polpox Boulevard, where they run down the street through daring thrill seekers, across the palace grounds and into the Actium Maximus. Carnivale only claimed 127 lives of partying colonists. This was a great reduction from past celebration periods. This year, Calaminator champion, the Retrosias from the 14th Cyclone Tantaneer moon, is back and ready to add to its total of 4 Titanodon kills and 72 overall combatant wins. This season, Grand Automaton Polpox has over 4,000 specimens to be Calaminators for a full 27 moon periods of games. Now on to today's headlines. More Laphrodite priest terrorists committed suicide today by burning themselves in front of the Grand Automaton's palace as an illegal protest to the Grand Automaton's Holy Ordnance number 423578. The Laphrodite priests are part of an illegal conspiracy to overthrow the lawful government of Actium and dethrone our benevolent ruler, Grand Automaton Polpox. In other news, colony economist Luc V. Racinus is still urging for more drive units for the system. Racinus warns if action is not taken soon, the entire system could crash. Grand Automaton Polpox is the 14th dictator of Actium in the line of the Vostromus beings, who seized control of the colony 700 moons earlier in Actium history. Many natives on the planet, led by Polpox's nemesis, Archbreton Sustinus, oppose Polpox and his government at every turn. Polpox and his entourage ignore the looming crisis on the planet by indulging in the Actium Maximus Forum games, where creatures from many planets throughout the quadrant fight to the death for their enjoyment. Wagering on death has become the Grand Automaton's obsession.
Extremely worthy creature. This is satisfactory. Where did we acquire this life form?
She came from a trade we did with the Zoomantarian system.
She seems to be sufficient. How much was disbursement?
Only 12 Labarius catamarans and 1 Tarian Delviton.
I am issuing a new holy order to find more efficient kilometers immediately. These aren't even sufficient nautical stats. The Titanodon, Ferrari, and 9 goes through them in a matter of seconds. They're absolutely worthless. They're only lasting a few minutes in the Actium Maximus. You are going to round them all up and displace their existences immediately.
That's really very generous of you, Father.
And start rounding up the labradorites. The healthy ones we'll use for the Actium Maximus. The others will be either eradicated or displaced. Whatever is the most efficient method.
Omnipotence, you gave that holy order last moon. If we issue a mass revocation order 3 moons in a row, it could cause riots and a civil breakdown. Why don't we officially call it a displacement curriculum?
They refuse to participate in worship period. Organized as president terrorism against the fallen. They're setting the priests to fire in some kind of blasphemous barbaric ritual right in front of the Holy Palace. Were you aware of that? Well, this parasitical blasphemous activity will be no longer tolerated. Something will be done, is that clear? Oh, perfect. Look what this is only good. Another 17,039 in the Book of Holy Covenants and Ordinances. All Labradorites are to be rounded up and assigned an aggregate number. Labradorites are to have their number attached to their existence at all times. All Labradorites that do not qualify for the Actium Maximus sustenance for the kilometers and slave labor will be relocated to our retribution colonies on the Cyclone Near Quadrant. Give them some special treatment there. The relocation program will be disguised as an attempt to help the vermin race.
The ultimate displacement curriculum.
Yes! Kind ultimate displacement.
Omniscience, since this is essentially the same holy ordinance you issued last moon, should I record it as an amendment to Holy Ordinance 432-679?
Silence! Your existence is to record with questions.
It's poetry, my omnipotence.
The wagering reaches its climax with the Retrosias hunt. 2 Retrosiae are let loose against a herd of Deserons, where they fight it out until only one team is left alive. The Deseron team, known as the Revokers, has been victorious the entire past moon, and has only sustained 3 losses to its herd. Wagering levels have reached over 100,000 with the Revoker team, which is also owned by the Roarenthrax wagering monopoly. The Roarenthrax has sponsored the last 3 champion teams since this season's Carnivale began.
Father, there is something of a crisis situation. If we could excuse ourselves for a moment, I will fill you.
Silence!
Aculipus heads have become an addiction throughout Actium colony, a very expensive delicacy harvested from the decapitated head of a race known as the Aculipi. Even the Grand Automaton has become addicted to the delicacy.
The Tartan of the Treasury has been urgently requesting another 2 million in hard Deceronic pearls and more drive units for the system.
Another demand?
Well, Omnipotence, if I may advise, he's just trying to perform his duties. He says the entire system will crash if he doesn't install more drive units immediately.
That was the last time he requested 2 million from the Holy Treasury. How come the entire system crash regardless? I don't believe it. He's a petty mercenary local false god impersonating from the Holy Treasury. I won't tolerate it. I'm a heavy cat. I was saying.
But my Omnipotence, what if he's right? If the entire system crashes, our whole monetary system will fail, and your currency will become worthless overnight.
Not to mention the glitter market would crash, and there have been full-blown head riots from the Aculipi head shortages already. I mean, it could become another aerial colony situation or worse.
Omnion, our whole economy is dependent on the survival of the system and the currency.
My currency will never fail. The aesthetic value of them alone will keep them strong. How could such a currency fail? Does a complete and perfect work of art fail? It is impossible. Do you have any new sapling uniforms for me? Sapling uniforms? Sapling uniforms! Grab me!
Yes, my Omnipotence. Here is this one.
Monsieur!
Justinian next season, the omnitour of interior events, prepares the Calaminators for the Actium Maximus Festival Games and collects additional animals from all over the quadrant. Soon he will be sent by the Grand Automaton to a very perilous planet, known as the Cyclone Tantanir, to retrieve a very deadly creature for the Actium Maximus. There his crew will encounter danger and intrigue they could never anticipate.
You only harvested 2 pearls from Desseron 43? We'll add some of that VZ938 formula that came from Popox's Cyclone Atelier to its rations. And where is Davidian? I told him to get that female Retrosias up to level 1 over 30 minutes ago. I have to import the insects, then I have to herd them in the Actium Maximus. I can't be everywhere at once.
This is Shell's factory. Now that is an improvement. This is the one. This is the new official scenario form. I tell you to remember. Make an official holiday. And now, distribute it before then. Justinian! How long does it take to buy Pete out to get to my room chamber after the orders written? I'm sending you back to the Cyclone Tantanir.
Cyclone Tantanir.
I'm dying to have another Cyclone for the Actium Maximus after that creature won over 200 victories during the last celebration period.
Like Saigon, Father.
Cyclone 726 is the only planet you can acquire one of those. You can't buy one with any recognized currency, not even Desironic pearls. The natives won't sell them. I'll have to catch one in the wild.
Yes, two if you can find them, and make them both females if possible. The females grow quite larger than males.
What ship am I to take, Your Omnipotence?
Take the Arachon, the ship that we confiscated last moon. It has large enough cargo to hold a whole pride of Lexigons. And while you're down there on that wasteland, bring back some Ukraine slaves. They always have bred good slaves on Cyclone 726, and we are completely out of that particular species. But that will be all, just
My Omnipotence. Let's see if we can pick up any local broadcasting. I would like to avoid the areas that are still actively engaging in tribal genocidal worship ceremonies, which is half the planet. A lot of natives on this rock engage in genocidal war as part of their religious ceremonies. We're probably not going to be able to pick up anything until we get around the 13th moon. The last thing I need is to tangle with some local and set primitive territorial dispute nonsense. This looks like something. Probably some kind of advertisement. Local fortune tellers?
I've heard the Septicai are worthy creatures. Maybe the master would like a few for slaves.
The Omniscient wanted you Krabon slaves, not Septicai. Our dioscopes aren't going to be able to detect any of the Lexigons from up here because they're chameleons. They constantly blend in with their background, hiding while they wait for their prey to come to them. Fairy knows a trader down here that can guide us to the best trails. Down here, the locals consider the Lexigons sacred. They believe their kings reincarnate into them when they die, so we won't be able to tell any of the natives what we're doing down here. If they knew we were after their sacred cow, I'd start a planetary riot and have every local faction band of freaks on the planet after us.
Sacred cow? How does that interpret?
It's dialect for a religious creature on a particular planet. You know, most planets have some creature or individual they consider a god or a divinity.
There have been 7 assassination attempts on the Grand Automaton within the last 3 moons alone. The Arch-Breton has been organizing assassins with the Laphrodites, the most oppressed race on the planet. The Laphrodites are being targeted for complete elimination by the Grand Automaton and his government under a genocidal program known as the Ultimate Displacement Curriculum. Currently, there are rumors of yet another assassination attempt, but Pol Pot's henchmen are currently unable to ascertain where or when it will take place.
How many victories does that make for the very poor country now?
I believe it is 47, Father.
We should organize a match between the militaries from the Cyclone 14.
A trader from that system is scheduled to arrive on Actium next moon. He may have one for sale.
When the trader arrives, confiscate his vessel and cargo.
Omniscience, if we begin to confiscate every trading vessel that lands on the colony, soon there will be no more trading vessels at all, and we will have to expend the sums necessary for expeditions to other planets to retrieve the creatures.
It looks like you've got another assassination attempt. I believe it came from Sector U. I'm going to try to get it up there immediately. Repeat, we got another assassination attempt. I repeat, it's Romano. The weapon did not pierce the protective armor.
Meanwhile, on Cyclone Tantanir, Omnituro Oxyzen and his entourage begin their quest for the deadly Lexagon creature, a creature the natives worship on this planet. Oxyzen is used to traveling to distant and perilous planets to capture creatures, only to bring them back to die on Actium for entertainment. However, this time, Justinian and his band of poachers are in for a deadly surprise.
So when did he say we should start getting into the Lexagon ranges?
In 342 halves of the day of the Niton, interpreted as approximately 4 hours.
What is that? The smell is enough to stifle your vitrogen. Are the fumes toxic?
'Do you have any live Cratexes for sale at the bazaar? $200 million in native Barian currency.
Meanwhile, back on Actium, Polpox grows furious at his henchman's failed efforts to apprehend the Arch-Breton.
Mesmerizing her time for all power. Cannot think thou people, chosen omniscient alone. I want you to start rounding your body Hermaphrodites off the boulevard in mass. They will become infamous in the Actium Maximus. Don't take it out of my presence. And I want you to put disinfectant in every chamber it's been in, and everything I touch.
My omnipotence. You are correct, of course. That revocation attempt had to have been from the Brighton. The blasphemer has all of the Hermaphrodites performing suicide bombings for it after it drugs them with the glitter.
I thought that you told me its cancer was imminent. Did I inform you that the recipes were not successful? I'm going to tell them time was, and if we said it would win, it comes us
Omnipotence, I have my best terror brigade engaged presently. Will be captured within moments.
Father, it's just not that easy.
My omnipotence, the Arch-Breton has a huge private army now. He has over 200,000 slave pawns in Actium alone. They're entrenched all along our southern border in those ancient alien city ruins underground. There's miles of tunnels and entire cities under there. It's a huge labyrinth of thoroughfares and alleys. They're dug in like parasites, and it's not easy for us to get them out.
It's very informed.
He's very powerful.
Powerful! Blasphemy! We fool! You have violated holy ordinance in the most odious way. You are displaced on me, Torah. You will go to dwell with the Hermaphrodites. It is something that should have taken place months ago. Get this condemned out of my sight! Yes, but its existence not revoked yet. This is not capable of correction. It is still not come to pass. What does this mean?
My omnipotence. I have my best terror brigade on it presently. It's just a matter of time.
What is it?
It's sticking all the way up into the clouds. It looks like the ruins of an ancient alien city. What did it say?
The Brarian said it's the remains of an evil dead god that expired here over 1,000 years ago. Interpreted in Brarian language as 3,000 days of the Niton. Apparently the Brarians believe the space vessel is a dead god.
What makes you so sure it is an alien ship? Why couldn't it be the ruins of settlements or even a giant fossilized organic for that matter, similar to the Mushroom Mountains on Tavian 49? It's overgrown in vegetation. Let's see if we can find a bridge or a computer system. Something to give us a clue of what this thing was looking for. It's gotta be down here somewhere. Send a non-organic to the upper decks and I'll look down here. Hey, I think I found something down here. Could be what's left of a computer system. Looks like it's still running. Think it's possible any data could be retrieved from what's left of that.
If it is a computer system, it's possible it could be merely a primitive calculation device. But that non-organic can de-mechanize just about any computer system. It's programmed with historical knowledge of all types of computers, not just from Actium, but from technologies all over the quadrant. Technology of computer history going back for a millennia.
Father, the dilemma has been the fact that the alien city ruins are massive and still uncharted. That extinct alien race began building entire cities underground when this planet's atmosphere turned black 100 million moons in the past.
There are miles and miles of developments and thoroughfares down there for them to hide. They could be anywhere down there. My omnipotence we would, but the Laphrodites would carry the plague inside the colony walls and infect us. We're going to the eastern entrance to the ruins now. I've already got 3 probe platoons in there. They're hidden all in this area like a bunch of parasites in their nests.
Still no contact with the terrorists, Father. We're probing into the southern sector now.
Pol Pox's Terraton brigades have hunted the Arch-Breton and his guerrilla army for the last 7 years. The Arch-Breton uses the vastness of the ancient underground ruins as his hideout. Guerrilla tactics are always used by the Breton to chip away at Pol Pox's forces. One of their favoured tactics is to lure Pol Pox's brigades into certain areas that are then sealed off and flooded with accelerated plague pellets or blitzklon vapor.
interpreted as, on the nigh of the third moon, and when the fourth moon takes to dusk, the musk of Nigh will tarry the mountain of Luraquad, and the Rididod of Tai will bury the Tinadod with the key of Trinion. The key will answer the Rillis in Barillis on the 42nd Paradis for the spring of lifefulness.
What is it? Can you interpret the meaning?
It's a map within a riddle. If you figure out the riddle, it will reveal a map to this Praxiagus symbol, or whatever it is that these aliens were looking for.
Spring of lifefulness, what? A miracle drug? Every race has its legends and fables about a miracle drug or a fountain of youth or a lost golden city.
Yes, but obviously this race was convinced it existed because they traveled a great distance and expended a vast sum of money to find it.
I want to have a look at the other part of the hull.
Father, we are just about ready for your broadcast to the colony.
My omnipotence, wait. This way you can tell the citizens cannot be killed by any organic weapons.
Serve the master well.
With all my gratitude, omnipotence. Okay, ready, and we are transmitting throughout the colony.
A few moments ago, while we were celebrating the plenty during our annual Actium Maximus Carnival, still another revocation attempt on my existence by the Quintidius fugitive from the Holy Covenant, terrorist arch Platon Sustenance. Furthermore, my visions have just brought me evidence that it has been organizing a conspiracy to overthrow the lawful, holy government of Actium Colony with the Labyrinthine Priest terrorist organization. This pox on the sovereign wants to take over the colony by force. It's nothing. It's appetite for more power. This is fantasy of a complete inferior intoxicated by megalomania. You see this blood on my armor? This is the blood of the people. An innocent bystander that was by my side during the revocation attempt. The latest holy martyr of the sovereign. Accordingly, the Arch-Breton must be hunted down and its existence revoked immediately. Paradise will prevail on this colony as long as I am Grand Automaton. I give you all the blessing and merry Actium Maximus.
Nine out of 10 cases confirm that citizens prefer a cool best heads on the home planet of the Tana. Never by those discredited country heads, because more than likely, they're from the Cyclone explosion and have taken so long to arrive that they're rotten. So only by a cool best heads from the Tana.
Excellent, Father.
Absolutely, you are people's one true God, my omnipotence. I'm blessed to be able to serve you.
Just shipped it one kid to join the...
That's impossible! I should have over 100,000 in the system!
When I got this of it, there's a shine got shot like his eyes like got...
How's it a in the press?
I'm just I'm 15 some people, I'm 15 some people, passing like a bag of shine
Well, just give me a 10,000 marker!
I guess I just shipped it one kid to join the...
Side of the barrel there. All Leopardites must now have the aggregate number attached to them at all times. All Leopardites are to report to the UDC embarkation ports immediately. All Leopardites must now have the aggregate number attached to them at all times. The penalty for all Leopardites found re-entering the colony walls without the holy authorization is a revocation sentence. Leopardite number 98,764. You are under seizure for failing to participate in the worship period. Your sentence is the Actium Maximus. All Leopardites must now have their aggregate number attached to them at all times. All Leopardites to the left side of the Bible there. They've hit us with Blitzcon vapor. Our armor isn't protecting us. They must have sealed this area. The vapor is eating right through our armor. In 8 seconds will vaporize.
Try and make your way to the southern entrance.
Don't believe this! There was the whole tower brigade down there. Can you comprehend the expenditure of a entire tower brigade? I thought that new order would prevent the Breton's blitzkrieg vapor formula.
The Briton has retained the services of a new Atelier on Cygnus Libra 76, so apparently the rumours we heard were true of a new formula for the Blitzcon vapor, and the Briton has managed to get his hands on it.
We'll send a tower brigade to that planet and bring back the machinery from that Atelier that's producing the new Blitzcon vapor formula. And I want the Breton's and Justice revolt now! I want you to have all those underground rights to pebbles! Blow off the planet! Blow if you have to! Blow! 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 Till
It is now time for the primary worship period. Blessed be our grand automaton Paul Pox XIV. He is the omniscience. He is the divinity. Blessed be the omniscience. It is time to recite the prayer. You are authorized to begin.
This ship is huge. The thing of it is, a ship this vast and sophisticated would have been a tremendous expenditure to any alien civilization. It would cost over 100 billion in Desironic pearls. Only the dominant race of the planet would have had a large enough economy to spend that kind of currency on a ship like this to go in search of a riddle.
Well, that obviously means that not only was this race convinced that this Lexiacus symbol existed, but it must be extremely important or valuable.
all of which are incredibly variable with each society. What may be extremely valuable to one race may be totally worthless to another. I mean, what if this Lexaga symbol is just some monument to some false god that this race worshipped? The quadrant's full of races spending vast expenditures in the name of some false god.
Just in from Omnitour Rock Mine at the front. He's just in from Omnitour Rock Mine at the front. The Arch-Breton is planning a self-revocating bombing at the Actium Maximus. Repeat, the Arch-Breton is planning a self-revocating bombing at the Actium Maximus Carnivale. It is anticipated that at least 15 self-revocating bombers will be present. Repeat, it has been indicated that at least 15 self-revocating bombers will be present.
It's up next, my omnipotence. Desseron 26 is now in the overall top 5 of Calaminators. Since its 32nd victory, its levels have tripled. Its precise numbers are 7,329 in hard Desseronic pearls. It has taken over the herd of Desserons on Actium and become the dominant bull of its species on the planet. Its value has quintupled since its arrival, but it still refuses to mate with the females.
And what it is done hurts me with
That should increase wagering profits immensely. The Warrenthrax wagering access attempted to monopolise last week's wagering pool with that creature.
Brighter wagering monopoly with that marble first. Bring that doctor!
No, that was the Axis that paid over $2 million in licenses last week.
What are the rumors about Columbus outside? Didn't know where they could pop up, but they shot sing the sleeper 19 to be hot at lost mode. Laboratories inside the garden walls. Names right there. Please, someone grab it. Roast the right from my brothers when you are wearing that. I ordered them to be taken care of. A million boots are going out. So I'm tracked down wherever I go. The blasphemy is at historical levels.
The vermin breed like Tecaron insects, my lord. We take care of 20,000, and 30,000 of their infant rodents are born the same day.
Unconvinced that the alien riddle really contains a map for a lost treasure, Exezen temporarily abandons his plan to explore the alien riddle, Bertalis believes may be a lost alien treasure. They set out again on the trails for the Lexiagon creature, the original mission of their journey. However, they will soon encounter a creature even more mysterious and deadly than the Lexiagon.
What is that?
Stuck in a saliva patch. Trap laid by the creature's venom. Chain with wherever that.
benevolence, there is something of a crisis. Another full-blown glitter ride is breaking out in the southern sectors. Shall I roll in the shock armor?
My worship, if I may advise, it is recommended to use the hyper-saw extensions on the shock armor for proper ground control and terror.
I think I should charge my chambers now.